the state of Holostars, male VTubers have been getting the short end of the stick. They've been a topic for drama for ages. Let's see what depressed Nousagi has to say about it.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
For what reason would an agency like Hololive, who started up as an originally idol-themed VTuber agency, decide to make a branch for male VTubers, but
because why not?
Not appeal to the usual demographic that male idols appeal to?
Okay.
That being the female equivalent of an idol fan.
That's a good point.
Why would they not brand them as such?
That's a really good point.
How and why did Nijisanji, a general and variety content themed VTuber agency, appeal to the female demographic first before Hololive did? Or at least their EN branch? See,
you know what? I can't even answer this. Luxium was just people. Okay, well, Vox obviously has an appeal to females, right? But the rest of the boys, I really didn't feel like it was all like that. You know what I mean? I just thought they were really entertaining.
For the longest time, Hololive has sold itself as a female-centered agency that primarily caters to male idol fans. It's a niche and a unique spin of the VTuber formula that was fresh at the time. And while they did find their relative success, Yago decided to want a male branch of their VTuber agency named Holostars. But first, let me recount the history of the branch. Holostars was originally Motowagi Tanigo's personal project. When they first launched, it probably did not feel the best when they were utterly rejected by the community.
That does feel bad,
The first Holostars members were absolutely terrified to debut.
Really?
To say that they faced opposition was an understatement. A lot of Hololive fans were concerned about their presence. Concerned is probably also an understatement. Some of them were downright against it. Though for the most part,
why,
they
though?
were placated by the fact that Holostars was entirely separated from the branch. They were
if they're separated, why did like the main core community of fans not like it? Like, what did they have against it?
segregated, and that meant the chances of them interacting or bothering in the affairs of the Hololive girls were quite low. A sentiment that
Yago played Mario Kart on stream with them. I've heard that Yago has like a special place for the boys and does try his best to take care of them. That's what I've been told.
actually carried over to the EN side of things.
Okay.
In any case, this opposition nearly made the boys give up, if not for their manager at the time Shinove and Yago himself personally seeing to their mental health and abilities, playing games with them on stream, pep talking. The Holostars boys are quite loyal to the CEO, and that's for good reason. He was very much hands-on until he eventually had to stop being the branch's general manager to focus more on the company as a whole.
True.
Though that's not necessarily enough, because for a long time, Holostars was isolated and not well known among Hololive fans. It led to the feeling that they were not supported, despite the CEO personally taking care of them and supporting them behind the scenes, and even publicly by people like Fubuki. But even with Fubuki's support, most of the girls didn't even know or downright refused to acknowledge them publicly in fear of the fan backlash. They were an idol-centric agency after all, and even if—
Okay, why is the Minecraft music so loud? It's just ramped up. But also, what is this weird stigma and hate for the boys? You know what I mean? Like, why can't they? What's wrong with collabing and having fun and creating more content, right? I know it's kind of maybe a little bit like hypocritical of me because I don't go and watch their streams so much, right? Of course, I don't really watch all of the Hololivers that much because I'm busy. But like when I watch like Roberu when he's collabing with Maya, right? They're super funny. They're like a really great duo, right? Why can't we have more of that?
interacting with males was not exactly a hard-drawn rule, it was still culturally enforced. Fast forward to now, and this still is pretty much true.
So this is like a toxic trait about idol culture, and that's just like kind of carrying on. Is that right?
Well, we have seen some good improvements to the quality and growth of Holostars, and that the community in general, outside Hololive even, is now aware of the brand. This sentiment of segregation is still there. The bleating of the people who hold this sentiment are quite loud. Many of the Stars members have spoken out about how they are even afraid of the fanbase at times and get worried about potential yabs with certain members. It's actually something that a lot of them share, especially with certain members that the unicorns and gachis are attracted to. All of this leads to the boys feeling not so welcome in a workplace that should be welcoming. That, despite being accepted into Hololive, there's a feeling that they aren't really part of Hololive. See, Nijisanji's co-ed approach has fostered this feeling that the people in the agency are whole. It feels natural that they are able to collab easily like
True.
this and be open about it.
Yeah.
But in Hololive, even in the EN branch, with the sole exception of Hololive Indonesia,
I guess like the whole idol culture is a lot, from my perspective, especially like the EN side of things, the idol culture is way more rampant in Hololive than it is in Niji. In Niji, people, it's just like, people are just fucking around having fun, it feels like. You know what I mean? And then, I don't know, maybe it's because of like the production value that Hololive brings to the table for a lot of things. Like, it really does change the perspective of the fans.
because oddly enough, it's the Southeast Asians that aren't as volatile as the others.
Okay.
This feeling of the members naturally mixing doesn't feel so natural. In fact, the original Holostars
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Dude, these streams are the best, yo.
branch felt like they were honorary indies and Nijisanji members more so than Hololive members. The branding and the culture they've cultivated makes it feel that they are two separate agencies collabing with each other if it happens.
Okay.
That is my personal feeling, but it's still odd to me why I feel that way. Why I feel that Holo EN feels fragmented.
This is odd to me too. Like, what is the stigma with different agencies collabing with each other either, right? Like, to me, I'd be like really excited to see that happen, right? And like a meshing. I know it makes people a little bit uncomfortable to have like a meshing of cultures, right? And sometimes there could be like a disconnect there, right? But to see something like that happen is really cool, right? So I don't get like why there's so much hate surrounding that. You know what I mean?
Even without Holostars. Hell, Holostars makes that fragmentation feeling a lot more evident. And again, the reason why this separation is there is due to the fan base. But let's talk about this further. Why is the fan base uptight about keeping them segregated?
Okay.
Well, if you've been in the industry for longer than a month, you'd probably realize that Hololive is much more parasocial heavy than other VTuber agencies out there.
Oh, damn. He's not holding back. He's saying it. You fricks are parasocial. He's just calling them out, man. That's crazy.
It is a company that had female idol branding as its crux. And this branding is the reason. In idol culture, the girls and the boys, because it's not a culture exclusive to any sex, gender, or location, the idol has to be parasocial to the fan base. Give the impression that they are unavailable for whatever reason or isn't looking for a relationship right now.
Right.
Sometimes they even
So they're all delusional, coping, brain rot, schizo fans. Is that what you're telling me? And they just in their minds, idols are like, they're not even human anymore. They're just something else entirely.
have to lie that they are single or that they are gay because for some reason that's entirely acceptable. Sometimes
For whatever reason.
they have to be quiet. It's just the nature of showbiz.
Yep.
And you put
Big drama, getting a lot of hate on the internet. Oh, my bad, guys. I'm gay. Suddenly everyone forgives you. Hello? This doesn't make any sense.
males into the mix or females if the idol group is male-centric, then problems start coming up. And here's the thing. Despite many people thinking that unicorns are a monolith and that all collectively hate the men just for the sole fact that they are a threat to their
Hate males. I hate male. Ew. Male voice on stream? Ah! Like, come on.
most likely non-virgin idols, I have discovered that most people actually do not mind the Holostars members.
Yeah.
But they want them to be kept in their own lane, to not be included in the Hololive stuff.
Okay.
Not to say, of course, that those unicorns that do get jealous exists, just that most people are neutral.
It only takes a small number of really toxic and psychotic fans to ruin everything. Okay? Because they won't stop. They'll dox people. They'll send them death threats. They'll fucking track them down, stake them out. They'll be in every stream, leaving hate mail, every Twitter post, dropping hate in the comments. They'll make alt accounts. They'll do everything. They'll be on 4chan, right? They don't stop. They have no chill. Some of these people are just actually psychotic.
They just avoid the boys and don't really care because that's not what they're in Hololive for.
Yeah. And that's not even just it's not just like people will be like parasocial Andy, right? Just to like as like a blanket umbrella term. It's so much more than that, right? There's varying degrees of parasocialism, right? And some of these deranged fans, it's so extreme, right? It almost doesn't feel fair to link it together with the rest of it.
Even if many people scream at them that they're missing out in banger content. Different strokes for different blokes, essentially. People consume VTubing in different ways. But I think the reason why people get upset at the inclusion of male VTubers is more so because it changes the relationship dynamics between the VTubers and the agency itself. It challenges the status quo, telling them that there will be changes they may not like. It's an instinctual and very human reaction, if I have to be honest. It's the fear of change. Wow. Especially since all of these changes were made in a year. When we know that this certain...
It's so dumb, man. Like, some people are, it's actually frightening how scared some people are of change, right? But if you think about it, all the things that you really enjoy in life, they didn't exist at some point, and someone changed up the dynamic to make that a reality, right? And sometimes you gotta do a little experimenting to see what you might like. You know what I mean?
Comfort or familiarity may no longer feel so comforting or familiar in the future. It triggers an almost hostile reaction to prevent that from happening. In a way, I get that feeling. Holostars and Hololive being marketed equally and much more involved with each other brings about endless possibilities for content and interactions. But endless possibilities aren't all just fun and sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes, endless possibilities also entail drama and yabs and suffering. But on the plus side, the segregation has, in a very roundabout way, actually helped the Holostars culture. This feeling of separation with Holostars and Hololive, while seeming at first that it may be a bad thing, may not entirely be so bad. Of course, the entire Hololive brand right now is trying to...
I guess if you alienate them hard enough, they'll develop their own culture. And by that sense, their own communities will be like stronger and like more unified because of that. You know what I mean? But it still sucks, guys. It still sucks.
To unify the two branches and marketing them together, making it so that the Stars members are also part of the marketing of Hololive unlike prior years, but those years and months of separation has garnered a unique environment of its own. A culture exclusive to Holostars.
That looks fun.
The struggles of starting and remaining small is that change poses little danger to you. A small ship is much more maneuverable, after all. It is only upwards from here on out. The boys have their own inside jokes, develop their own memes. Holostars is different.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even beyond the sex and the gender, beyond the branding and the memes, fundamentally, Holostars is not Hololive. Holostars is Holostars. They are unique, a separate community within the same brand and agency. And I think at the end of the day, that's what Iago wanted. Or perhaps not. Perhaps it was an accident that he didn't intend for this to happen.
Yeah, I think it was an accident. I'm gonna be straight up, I think it was an accident. Iago's dreams, they've been crushed, man. Let's be real. But this is still okay. You know, sometimes you gotta let the community and you gotta let things kind of just go. And you gotta let them be free to kind of just develop in their own way, right? And you'll probably end up somewhere that you never saw yourself, right? And that's okay. That's a good thing, you know? You can eventually make something that nobody saw coming, right? And that's really magical.
But it still seems good for the long term. If you've paid attention for the finances and the reports and the politics and the interviews around VTuber agencies, and please, I highly suggest you do so if you're interested in learning more about how companies work.
The drama.
There are interesting facts in there that may or may not surprise you. Like the fact that many people think Hololive makes more money than Nijisanji or VShoujo, when in reality, Nijisanji was always more profitable, even during Hololive's golden era.
That's right, baby. That golden yacht doesn't buy itself, man. That's right. Niji, they will make that. They smell the dough, dude, and they jump right on it. They will monetize anything, man.
But that's not what we're here for.
Yep.
We're here to listen to Hololive's long-term goals in the future.
Okay.
CoverCorp has stated that they have the intention of being an IP holder company more so than a VTuber company.
Okay.
They want to be like Disney. someone who owns really valuable IPs and is able to use them to create many medias like video games, shows, merchandising, and manga. Hell, even potentially let other studios use them with certain conditions. A VTuber equivalent of Sanrio, of Shonen Jump, of CD Projekt Red, of Disney. They want to branch out far beyond VTubing. And they've already even started that endeavor. They want to go beyond just VTubing. And with this in mind, it only makes sense that Holostars has been pushed by Covercorp more fiercely than ever, that their segregation had some long-term benefits. Hololive fans won't have to cannibalize on each other with Holostars fans. They appeal to different fan bases and demographics. They can appeal to as many markets as they can. It's a plan that has long-term benefits with some short-term pains. They can't just pigeonhole themselves into majorly catering to the male fan bases. They can't just focus on VTubers. They have to think further. And
this is just like the logical progression, right? If your IP, if your character designs, if your story picks up enough traction, right, with the community, then naturally you want to branch that out into other things, right? And then so logically it just makes sense that Hololive becomes like an IP brand, right? And then they can just spread out across a bunch of different mediums, right? And then it'll just like touch a massively wider audience than what they're tapping into now, right? And that'll give them a leg up and become like a really like massive internationally recognized like brand all around the world, right? For all different cultures.
With all that information in mind, does it not make sense
Kinda
that
like
they
Pokemon.
should and is promoting Holostars in the same way they are now? Ignoring one's personal biases and feelings of the matter, I think this is the best way to go forward. Maybe a few details and small things that could have been tweaked, but the major strokes seem optimal. All in all, it's a vision that I can genuinely believe in. It makes me confident, makes me feel proud that despite my frequent ventures outside the Hololive community, that although I am developing and keep developing a liking towards certain indie communities, small corpos, Twitch VTubers, and a few Nijisanji members, Hololive is the place I can always go back to and call home. I may not always like their decision, I've shat on them more than enough in the past, my overall opinion of the agency is still quite positive. Until the next yab, of course, like if Ikora graduates, I will literally be inconsolably upset. I will literally drop. In any case, that's really all I had to say for this long overdue review of Holostars' current state. If you liked what you saw, do leave a like. Any disagreements, feel free to discuss. Any additional comments or thoughts, I'd be happy to read about them. So,
I hope people give Holostars more chances, man. Like, I think the strange hate coming their way is so unjustified, right? I would just love to see more people, more tubas having fun, getting clipped, having a hilarious time. You know, that just makes the world better. Let's have more of that.